What's up guys, Erroneous here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm going to be going over all of the new blessings that are coming into the game of Raid pretty soon with the introduction of the new patch that's coming out. And I want to go over whether or not they're strong in my opinion, or whether they're weak, if they already need a buff, or maybe they're overpowered potentially. So let's get into it. All right, y'all, so here we have it. The first blessing that's coming into the game of Raid, and it's going to be Divinity of Harmony is going to be the brand new tier of blessings. This is rares that I'm going to go over first, then I'm going to go over epics, then I'm going to go over the legendary blessings. I wonder if they're going to be bringing out mythical blessings in the future. There's definitely a potential chance that could happen. However, if they do, I do feel like they might be way too power crept. But that's who am I to judge, right? There's a possibility that that does happen in the late future. So we've got Nourish, which is a rare Divinity of Harmony blessing. It increases the value of heal granted by continuous heal buffs placed by this champion, and each continuous heal buff placed by the champion restores a portion of the target's maxed HP. Right now you have a lot of champions that do just a flat heal. For example, there's someone like Ugo, who's an epic champion. Obviously, you can put rare blessings on those epic champions, but Ugo does a flat heal and to your whole ally team. And with the current blessing, which is out there, which I'm going to showcase to you really quickly. So it's Miracle Heal. So Miracle Heal, also a rare blessing, similar to Nourish, except Nourish works more so for champions that place continuous heals as compared to just doing a heal. This one, she just does a heal by 20% of her max HP, and then the blessing here restores their max HP, the allies, based on the heal. So if I have her at a 3-star, 75% chance to restore destroyed max HP, so it's a chance to increase or restore max HP, whereas the current ability here, Nourish, increases the value of heal granted by the continuous heal by this champion by 5%, and just flat out restores this destroyed max HP. So this could end up competing with the Miracle Heal. It could even potentially be better in some instances because of the fact that the lower level star ratings here just instantly grant the chance to restore max HP. Whereas this older blessing, it needs to be, how many? You only get a 50-50 shot at restoring destroyed max HP when healing. Restores destroyed max HP equal to 10% of the heal. So you need to have a high awakening on this one for it to really shine. And that's also with the Nourish, you have to have a high awakening for it to really shine as well. That's any blessing in general. But I just feel like having a 50-50 shot, sometimes you just won't restore any max HP. I think they should change that since this one's coming out and there's no chance or percentage chance to even get the restoring max HP off. So that's kind of interesting to me, but let me know your thoughts and comments down below on this one. It's decent. It's not terrible. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it could be amazing in certain situations. If you put this on like a Bad Alcazar, but why would you even use them in like Hydra or certain areas that are destroyed max HP? Again, you wouldn't use a Bad L in like, say, for example, Fire Knight. At least for a hard mode Fire Knight, you wouldn't use them, because Fire Knight hard does destroy max HP. I wouldn't really use it on those champions, those legendary champions personally, but I guess it depends on what you want to do. So in terms of this one here, I really feel like you kind of have to pick and choose which champions are going to put this on. It might go on rare champions over your epics or your legendary champions. It's an okay blessing. It's nothing crazy. Very similar to Miracle Heal. Let's move on to the next blessing. All right, so the next blessing we have here is Nature's Bounty. So this one, whenever this champion applies a debuff, has a chance to place a greater version of the debuff. For example, 50% decreased resistance debuff instead of a 25% decreased resistance. It does not apply to debuffs that are placed by gear sets. So unfortunately, a toxic set or other sets that place debuffs, well, maybe like a hex set or something like that, it's just not going to do anything. I guess they can do it on rares. Like the only rare that comes to mind right now is going to be this chick right here. I guess you could also put it on, what's her name? Allure. So this one right here, decreased defense will go to a big version of decreased defense, but it's only a 30% chance that she even lands it on the A1. So decent for her, but I have her in Phantom Touch for me right now. Maybe I would consider putting it on her, but it's such a niche use case, and it would be for secret rooms only. I don't even use her anywhere else in the game. And then again, Allure, if I go up to her, as you can see, she places the weak version of decreased defense, but then it would end up placing a strong version of decreased defense instead. So I would suggest putting it on Allure, because most people aren't using Allure in PvP. You're using her mostly in PvE, in the dungeons that you're requiring to drop turn meter, or even for Dark Fae. Very, very, very strong for Dark Fae. So I would consider utilizing her in Nature's Bounty. This is actually a strong, rare blessing for niche circumstances, but again, it could make a run like Dark Fae even faster with a stronger version of decreased defense. Of course, you're going to have other champions potentially on your account that can place the big version of decreased defense, but there are those out there that can't place the big version of decreased defense. So it's a decent blessing. And then in terms of like other champions, let's see. Are there any that come to mind? 25% weaken, that's a big version anyways. Farrakhan places the big version here of decreased defense. Yeah, I'm sure there's other champions out there. Just leave it in the comments down below. Other champions you would use Nature's Bounty on. And also I wanted to note on Nature's Bounty is that 6-star only gives you a 60% chance to place a greater version. I didn't actually read that yet, so that's kind of frustrating. I feel like it should just be a 100% chance to place a greater version if you land it. I mean, maybe not. Would it be overpowered? No, actually, it wouldn't even be overpowered. So, like, I can't even think of a situation where that would end up being overpowered. I just don't foresee it being overpowered. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below on that. But I think that 6-star 60% chance should be automatically buffed to a 100% chance. I don't know why they did that for 6-star. That makes it less appealing. It makes me less likely to want to even go for this on any of my champions for another chance to get a greater version. And you have to have a chance to even land the debuffs to begin with. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of frustrating. But either way, let's get on to the next one. All right, so the next one we have here is Nature's Wrath. So Nature's Wrath increases the damage inflicted by this champion for every debuff they successfully placed, except debuffs placed by gear sets. So there was some confusion in the CC chat. In terms of this, if you have Rathalos, for example, every time he places that decreased defense on his A1, which is unresistible for bosses, this stacks, right? So even if that debuff that he placed or another champion that placed those debuffs, it stacks over time. So if you have a 6-star, it's just going to go to 30% over a length of the battle. So even if those decreased defenses or other debuffs fall off on the enemies, they're stacking. It's based on every time you place the debuff on the enemy. So this would be a really good set on Rathalos, or you can just keep him in like Cruelty. That's what a lot of people like to do more damage to the Hydra heads or to bosses and things like that. With Rathalos, he does really well with a Cruelty blessing currently, but you could consider putting him into this and just doing flat out 30% more damage if he's in a 6-star, which is pretty nice. It's not bad at all. So I think this would be great on other champions as well. If you're trying to do long elongated battles for Hydra, this seems like a Hydra or even a clan boss blessing. Nature's Wrath is good for clan boss, good for most boss battles in general. So yeah, I think this is a decent blessing for epics. Not broken by any means, at least not until we test them, right? So I do like this blessing. I would put it on multiple different champions. Rathalos does come to mind. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, so next up we've got Neutralize. Neutralize has a chance to place debuffs on weak hits when attacking enemies under Poison Cloud. So it's literally just for Hydra, that's it. There's no other area in the game currently that does Poison Cloud debuffs, or buffs rather. And it's only a 60% chance to place the debuffs on a weak hit against an enemy. I don't really like that. If it's 6-star, just do it. Like, because you still have to hit a threshold of specific champions to place a provoke on the Head of Decay. So it's an epic as well. It's epic blessing. I do believe that they should just boost this 6-star to 100% chance. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know your thoughts and comments down below, but I would boost the 6-star to 100% chance of placing debuffs on weak hits against enemies under Poison Cloud buffs. That's my personal opinion. Would I even use this? Maybe I would consider using it on a champion or two. If you're early or mid game, you might want to put it on whoever that places hexes, especially against that specific head that can steal buffs from you, or that you're having struggles actually attacking. And maybe you're utilizing, what's his name? Here he is right here. Maybe you're utilizing Mishinaki and you're trying to place Hex, but the specific head that you're trying to place Hex on, it's just not landing because he's weak hitting. I would consider putting Neutralize on Mishinaki or other champions that you're trying to place Hex, but you're negative affinity. Again, I just personally think that they should change this to a higher percent chance. I would love to see 6-star be 100%, but maybe even 80%, 90%, preferably 100% here. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so we're on to the legendary blessings here. We've got Harmonic Pulse. And this one here fills this champion's turn meter whenever they lose their turn because of a fear or a true fear debuff. Also decreases the cooldown of the skill they attempted to use whenever their turn is lost due to a true fear debuff. Again, it sounds like another buff or blessing rather for Hydra because of the Torment, the Head of Torment. So if you don't have Shamael, a lot of these blessings seem to be aimed towards PvE for Hydra specifically. And I don't know, I just feel like they don't have a broad enough scope, and more people like blessings for PvP rather than PvE, in my opinion, especially Polymorph, So I don't know. I guess this is a decent one if you just don't have Shamael. I, for one, don't have Shamael still, and I've been playing for over 4 years free to play. And, it's obviously annoying and challenging when the Head of Torment constantly places fear on you. But I think it's nice, especially on, like, who would you want to use this on? You'd probably want to use this on, like, an enemy max HP champion that gets feared. So I do have situations and issues where my Newt gets feared, and then I go to try to use this because one of my champions gets eaten and it wasn't Newt, and I need to try to knock that champion back out of the head that just ate my champion. And having this blessing right here, Harmonic Impulse, to also decrease the cooldown of a skill they attempted to use whenever their turn is lost due to a true fear, that would be kind of cool. Now, I'm pretty sure if it's a true fear though, and you lose your turn, I'm pretty sure it goes on full cooldown of your skill, if that works correctly. But if, for example, I want to look at debuffs, I want to look at true fear. So true fear, here we go. When a champion with true fear debuff attempts to use a skill, there's a 50% chance the skill will not activate and the champion will lose their turn. The skill they attempted to use will go on cooldown. Okay, so it goes on cooldown for 1 turn. So yeah, so this actually is not for multiple turns when you get true fear. It's just 1 turn, but it does make or break some fights because then that champion might get eaten. And then that's happened to me multiple times. And then this comes in, Harmonic Impulse, and says, okay, well, we're going to give you a percentage chance. It only resets the cooldown at freaking 6-star. So reset this cooldown of the skill the champion attempted to use. Fills by 50% turn meter is nice. It's a 100% chance to reset at 6-star only though. So they're really trying to push people to try to go for these blessings and try to awaken champions. And so I just think they're very, very particular and niche blessings for Hydra. Most of these, it seems. But I guess it's decent though. It's not a bad blessing. It's just after a while, people won't even need to use this blessing. I mean, especially if you have multiple Shamael, that's probably what you're going to run on your team, or you're going to run other champions potentially. Who knows what you're going to run, but it is helpful. It's also helpful potentially for like infinity teams for Hydra, especially for the head of torment. If for some reason the wrong person ends up getting a fear and the fear goes off, now the speed's out of tune. So, and it's hard to do full auto on Hydra to begin with. So, yeah, I mean, you're still going to need to manual fights, even if you have harmonic impulse. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan, but I understand what they're trying to do. It just doesn't seem super powerful. I really feel like it should also add a couple more debuffs here. There could be other debuffs, like they could have use this blessing to help counteract Armands. They could have used this blessing to fight that in arena, right? It could have been fills the turn meter whenever they lose their turn because of stun, because of provoke. Or well, I guess you're not losing a turn because of provoke, maybe because of sleep. But just all the debuffs that make it so your champion can't take a turn, which means like provoke, you can take a turn because you're attacking a specific target. But sleep, stuns, fears, and true fears, I feel like it should have been for all three of them. That's just my personal opinion, but leave your thoughts and comments down below. Let's go ahead on to the next one. All right, so the last one here is Cracking Roots. And this one increases the damage inflicted by this champion to Stone Skin. Okay. 6-star, increase the damage inflicted by 100%. Only 20%. Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Already people are just doing no damage to people with Stone Skin. Maybe I can find an example here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find anyone in arena that's going to be running Stone Skin. But, yeah, Galathier will run Stone Skin. I could probably beat the team because they're red affinity. But watch how much damage I do to the Stone Skin, even with positive affinity champions. So my Samson is one of my strongest champions on my entire account. And I just want to showcase to you, how does this person not have Stone Skin? That's ridiculous. Okay, never mind. All right, that's cool. That's wild. You would think that they would have Stone Skin with Galathier and others. But hey, it is what it is. This guy's going to end up transforming and reviving. Okay, that's fine. I guess we're just going to have a long battle for no reason. I'm probably just going to back out of this and try to find another team. All right, let's see if we can find another team here that actually has Stone Skin. The 1+1, +3, +1, I'm not going to do much against that. Maybe we've got... This team's probably just a speed team. Let's try this team. This team probably has Stone Skin. Now, we're probably going to weak hit just because, but there should be Stone Skin. Yeah, well, there's one Stone Skin. They're actually faster than us here. Not a big deal. And he plays Strengthened, so it's not like an ideal time, but let's just see. We actually did a lot of damage there. Okay, because I killed Sun Wukong, though. Again, keep in mind, my Samson is wicked strong, and he's in lethal and cruel. Already ignoring defense. And then he's weak affinity against Gaius, but he hit, that clearly is a double critical hit on the Stone Skin here. It's hard to see, but here's the Stone Skin almost halfway. So 100% would have almost taken off Gaius's Stone Skin, but that's at 6-star though. Like I would expect it to just rip it off, like pretty much demolish it. In my opinion, it should be 200% damage. That's just my personal opinion. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below, because if I'm struggling, look at that weak hit. See, he hasn't even lost it yet. Obviously, it's because of weak hits too. I have to hit strong hits. Understandable. We finally remove the Stone Skin. Maybe with the Cracking Roots, you could potentially destroy the Stone Skin, or I could have potentially destroyed the Stone Skin there on the first hit from my Samson, but I think it's unlikely that I would have done that. There's just a possibility. So, for Rotos against like single target UDK, Rotos is going to weak hit a lot of times, and then maybe he does more damage. It might help with Rotos a little bit against the UDKs, but it's a very niche use case. I guess you'd have to kind of put it on a lot of champions that are damage dealers. I would consider putting it on a Wukong, especially when you try to kill somebody who has a UDK on the other team. So Wukong would benefit a little bit from that. There's other champions you could use as well. Trunda, who could do pretty well with the double hit because she does have a pretty decent multiplier on her double hit ability. You could also potentially put it on a Baron, because Baron's kind of gotten nerfed because of the Stone Skin inadvertently. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple champions you could put this ability on. I think this is one of the more interesting ones. I think this might be I'm most interested in this one out of every other blessing. It could be strong, but I don't know. I think it needs more damage though. I personally think it needs more. I think it needs like 150, probably at least 200% damage. So that's just my personal opinion. Again, let me know your thoughts in comments down below. I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts. But let me know in general, what do you think of the new blessings? Do you like the new Divinity of Harmony for the blessing tier that's coming out? Or are you just like, man, they all kind of suck and I'm not interested at all? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on a video soon. Take care.